Air traffic control does need an upgrade. And yesterday, at the tiniest desk in the world, Donald Trump got it done.
Today, we're proposing to take American air travel into the future, finally. Finally. Where's our leader?
Now, hate him or love him, you've got to admit that Donald Trump looks really cute when he signs things at that tiny portable desk, okay? Looks like a little kid that's just like fighting hard. You know what? It actually looks like one of those high chairs they give kids at restaurants, you know? Like I'm just waiting for him to flip over the page and do the little mermaid maze on the back. I like this, so many walls, so many walls. My pen is like a Mexican. It looks like fun. But I have to admit, when I saw that signing, I was like, wow, Donald Trump does get some things done. Stroke of a pen, boom, decisive. Except then I learned that that executive order was more of an executive suggestion.
In a ceremony befitting a bill signing, the president went on to sign not a bill, but a memo to Congress outlining his proposal, which has no binding effect.
There's nothing that is being handed over at this point to Congress as part of a package. This is a rollout of the president's priorities, essentially, and the principles that he wants to be pushing when it comes to infrastructure.
What the hell, people? He just wrote a to-do list, then signed it like it was all done. He really is a TV president. And I don't know if you've noticed, but this is a recurring theme that is one of the weirdest parts of Trump's presidency. He loves the performance of doing things, but a lot of the time, nothing's actually being done. Essentially, Donald Trump wants to be president, but he doesn't want to do president, right? Because this infrastructure deal is a great example. Just listen to what he said back in April.
We're going to do infrastructure very quickly. We've got the plan largely completed, and we'll be filing it over the next 2 or 3 weeks, maybe sooner.
Right, you see that there? A month ago, Donald Trump said the infrastructure plan was largely completed. But then, just this weekend, the director of his National Economic Council admitted that there is no plan, right? He admitted there's no plan. So there's nothing they can implement. Donald Trump is like a creepy boyfriend touching his girlfriend's belly going, yeah, we're expecting a boy, we are. And his girlfriend's like, we've never even had sex. And just like most of Trump's deals, once you start to read the fine print, you realize it's not what it seems. Remember the giant Saudi arms deal last month? Yes? The president was bragging on Twitter, bringing hundreds of billions of dollars back from the USA, from the Middle East, which will mean jobs, jobs, jobs. Now, that tweet makes it sound like Trump completed a $110 billion deal, got the cash, and then rolled back to America like a presidential Little John. Just like, everybody, jobs, 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 jobs. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like that. I mean, I was even excited. This was great news. Except it turns out that there was no actual deal. There was no deal that was signed. It was people saying, maybe we'd like to do deals in the future. So, Trump's infrastructure plan doesn't exist. The Saudi deal is not actually a deal. How about the thing he cares most about? Tax cuts.
Our tax bill is moving along in Congress, and I believe it's doing very well. I think a lot of people will be very pleasantly surprised.
President Trump may be getting ahead of himself. There is no tax bill moving along in Congress.
Man, I wish all news anchors were black women, because they will call you out on your They will call you out on your So much of what Trump says has happened, hasn't happened at all. And we shouldn't be surprised, because essentially, this was always his move.
Trump finally explained how he plans to separate his business empire from his presidential powers.
These papers are just some of the many documents that I've signed, turning over complete and total control.
No reporters were allowed to actually open those files or look in them, and there were no markings on the folders to identify what they actually were.
Trump agreed that his club would make a $100,000 donation to a veterans charity. But then the Washington Post discovered Trump never donated that money to those charities at all.
In 1982, he bought a prized piece of real estate along the Atlantic City boardwalk. To get Holiday Inn to make a deal with him, he invited their executives to the site and made it look like construction was well underway.
I had every truck available in the area moving on that site. They saw that action. They were immediately impressed, and we made a deal like right then on the spot.
Yeah, there you have it. Trump, in his own words, proud of the con. And I wouldn't be shocked if in 8 years he's saying the same thing about the U.S. You should have seen America. They bought it hook, line, and sinker. All I did was sign some and they were in. And I don't know about you, but I think it's time we take action and crack down on these phony claims. Do you guys want to do something about this? Me too. You know why? Because I've also got a tiny desk, people. I've got a tiny desk for doing stuff. And no more lies. No more lies. Done. Done. It's done. No more lies. Congratulations. You've been randomly selected as a winner of free Daily Show episodes. Yes, you. To claim your prize, just watch full episodes of The Daily Show for free anytime with the Comedy Central app or at thedailyshow.com. What a winner you are. So much winning.